Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. After a short break, we are back. Me and Don are bringing you the latest news from the IPL, and it's the Gujarat Titans streak getting broken against the Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings winning, the most unpredictable team right now in this tournament, beating Gujarat and breaking that winning streak of theirs. And it was the Kagiso Rabada show which set up the game. And the batsmen, I felt, played with much more responsibility today. Whether it was Shikhar Dhawan, even Rajapaksa, and then Livingston came and smashed it. Punjab showed what they're capable of. They just need to be more consistent. Don, how are you doing? First of all, Eid Mubarak, and how did you enjoy the game?
Good man, in work to you too. But in terms of the game, I think a proper professional performance. Like a kind of a thrashing for Gujarat that they are not used to. They lost the one game before, but that was also a closer game against Hyderabad. But this was like a proper beating. They lost with 4 overs to spare. So one of those days, it was bound to happen. Gujarat was a kind of a team that. Every time they were in trouble, they found a way to win, which is always a good thing. But there was going to be a game where they would not be able to get that luck in their favor, and things will go bad. And that's what IPL is all about. You will have a few very good games, but you'll have like a game that you want to forget. They shouldn't be too worried. I think they should just brush it aside, focus on what has been good for Gujarat. But Punjab, I think they'll be very happy, and I think that they are back in the reckoning after a lot of people wrote them off. I think two big wins, I think, now for them, and in fifth position, I think with Sunrisers dropping their form as well. It might just it might just work out in Punjab's favor.
That's right.
They can they can't write themselves off. Yes, I still think that even Delhi and KKR have an outside chance. They shouldn't write themselves off as of right now. But it's getting to that business end, and I think the net run rates and all are going to be extremely important this time around. So I think this will also help Punjab's net run rate, because I think a big win for them is critical. Uh, like you said, proper professional performance. I think Rabada with the ball mainly, and then all the batsmen, I think, like Shikhar, Rajapaksa, and Livingston, all were good. Also, comment an important point to note is that I think Rishi Dhawan bowled very well, which is very
Hmm.
important for them. I think Sandeep Sharma has again been economical. He has been one of those bowlers that's always economical more often than not. Every now and again he'll get whacked around a little bit, but overall he's been pretty economical for any side that he plays. So they lost Chahar, and that could have been a problem, but I think that they managed to fend that off pretty well with Livingston coming in and doing a pretty decent job for the 2.5 overs that Chahar was going to miss. Hopefully that webbing is the split isn't too bad, and they can get him back in the next game, because he's an important player for them. But I think a lot of positives for Punjab, and I think Gujarat shouldn't be too worried. Just it's a one-off game. They can afford a couple more like this, and they're probably already starting to think about how they're going to play the playoffs and stuff. I think their target will be to finish in the top two, so they get that extra chance. And for Punjab, it's just about making the playoffs. So it was a good game in terms of that, and I think the business end is going to be really exciting about in this IPL for sure.
And a positive for Gujarat is Sai Sudarshan, the way he played one drop, 65 or 50. 5 fours, 1 6. So I felt he batted really well, and that's the thing with Gujarat. That's been the story of their season, that someone or the other is pitching up, and it's always a new person in every game. Just unfortunate that he didn't get the support. You can't expect Tivati and Rashid Khan to hit every single game. Miller also, he's past his prime, right? So he's not going to score every single game. Then it's Hardik Pandya. All the responsibility lies on him. So they will have issues here and there, but the positive thing is that someone or the others, there's in that batting order, everybody has contributed to a win already in this season. So
Yeah.
that gives them some confidence. A worrying sign is Shubman Gill. I felt he started so well in the tournament. He's a class player. I think he's the future generation, not only in the IPL, but for India as well. But again, he's just, he got run out today, but he's needs to get that consistency. That offside shot he likes playing, but he needs to be a bit careful with that. Finding the gaps is something that he'll have to focus on. So that's something that it's not a worrying sign, but it's something that Gujarat will want to fix as soon as possible, and Shubman Gill himself will want to fix.
100%. I think like we were talking about, he had a couple of really good 50s in the first few games, and he's really just suddenly dropped off from there and has not been able to pick it up, because of the way that this team is set up. I think it's a bowling heavy side, so I think Gill will continue to get a lot of chances. But he has to convert. He has to score a couple more 50s and give that confidence that the team has put in him. Give back in that confidence. So I think just focus on doing the basics right. That was a risky run to take, no doubt. But do the basics right, and the things will all automatically fall into place. I think just kind of have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And he tends to have these kind of phases. Even with KKR, you saw sometimes he starts well and then he has these phases. So he just has to jump out. He has just to snap out of these phases quickly so that it doesn't start to bog him down.
Yeah, and just if you look at Punjab's batting, that's exactly what we were talking about the whole season. They didn't really get that kind of combination. They have the combination, but they didn't get it right. They didn't execute their plans. But this is the plan which was executed perfectly today. Shikhar Dhawan, 62-53, playing the anchor, strike rate of 116. When you're chasing 140, that's completely fine. And then you have Rajapaksa striking at 142, 40 of 28. And then Livingston coming and going ham, 30 of 10. Even Rajapaksa, I felt that he played with more responsibility. 142 is very low for him, strike rate wise, right? So he also played with some responsibility there, knowing that there is a Livingston there. And also, I think Livingston mentioned in the post match that Mayank was saying that if Shikhar gets out, I will go. If Rajapaksa go out, you will go. So that's why Livingston went there and he smashed it. So they have that hit and anchor role now. They always had those plays, but now they're going in that Sunrisers direction where they're actually applying that rule.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced by Mayank Agarwal not batting. I think his primary spot is up top, but it could become it could become a case of thinking too much, and I think that could also be a little bit of a problem. I think that they are trying extremely hard to integrate Johnny Bairstow into this team.
His form is worrying, right?
His form is worrying, and if you're trying to integrate a player so hard because of his past reputation, I think that's when it starts to get a little questionable. But with that being said, it's always a fact that this is a quality side with the 11 that they are portraying. It's a pretty quality side, but I just feel like you decide you can have like one change here and there, but I feel like if you keep thinking so much about it, it could come back to bite you. A couple things could go in there against them because suddenly one game Mayank is opening, the other game Johnny's opening, the other games like if Rajapaksa is coming in a little bit, so on and so forth. I think just have to maybe try to like say that, okay, Johnny, your position is number 4, Livingston is 5, whatever, decide that and then just stick to that. I think that would go down a little bit more. Consistency would be important because suddenly Mayank Agarwal used to playing in the power play, suddenly has to come in and go with 40 of 20. That's not his style. I feel like he takes a ball or two to get used to it. He needs that little bit of time, and that opening will give him that. So those small things. It worked out today, but I just think that they should be a little bit more consistent with the batting order.
Yeah, and your player of the match today?
I think Rabada, because I think he set it up quite well. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, he set it up, and that was a brilliant spell. Of bowling. Really loved those 4 overs, and it's always a pleasure.
And he took Tewatia and Rashid in 2 balls. Those are their kind of I enjoyed it extremely. First ball when Rashid went out, especially after what he did to Sunrisers.
Only if Umran Malik was allowed to bowl one more over.
One more over.
You can see pace troubles a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree there. Kagiso Rabada is the player of the match. And just quickly moving on to the next game, which is tomorrow. It's the
red versus yellow
South Indian derby. I think if you ask a lot of people, it's the Chennai-Mumbai rivalry because of success. But if you ask the people who live in those cities, it's the Chennai-Bangalore rivalry. It's that South Indian derby that they're close to each other almost. You have people living in each other's cities. The banter is there. I've been speaking to people who actually live there, and they're most pumped up for this game. The hardcore fans who live in those cities. So Chennai versus Bangalore. Bangalore going on a dip. Chennai going on a rise. One thing is that Dhoni is going to play until he's 70, bro. Otherwise, this CSK has to be either you get rid of CSK after Dhoni retires, or Dhoni doesn't retire ever. I don't understand what happened. Everything has changed. It's not my.
It was.
That is Dhoni, but I still don't understand what happened. Bro.
I think Rituraj was just due a good innings, and it kind of happened. That's it. There's no other explanation to it. He is quite a classy batsman. We've all seen that in the past as well. I think as much as I love Dhoni, I don't think we can give that to Dhoni. I think it was all Rituraj, and I think Dhoni he was doing it before as well, and he just maneuvered the bowlers well enough. They didn't lose by much. They didn't win by like a big margin or something. At the end of the day, it was only 12 runs that they won by. And of course, the last over, they Sunrisers was out of it, but they were able to score about 30 runs to bring that total down to to a respectable only 13-run loss. With that being said, I think Dhoni brings a little bit of a sense of calm in this side. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, he can't continue forever. He has probably a season, maybe two left in him. That's about it. But I think Chennai overall, I think they still look a weaker side. And I think Bangalore is a stronger side as an option as well, and try to see how they can make the most of their resources. I still think that Chennai is out of it along with Mumbai. I don't see them forcing their way back in because they have 5 games left. I still think they need to win all five to even stand a chance, and I don't think that will happen with the side that they have, with the quality of the side that they have. So it's about trying to figure out that aspect and just see how they can probably just try and see what is their best uh, 11 is, and then try to improve on one or two options that they need in the next auction and come back a little bit stronger. For Bangalore, I think they have a chance and they need to start stepping it up. Otherwise, they will be the ones that will miss out on that playoff, and I think that will be disappointing for them.
And Bangalore, again, the top order has been the issue for them. I mean, again, the first time, normally it's the
Yeah.
bowling which is the issue. The top order has been an issue, and that's been the problem in the last few games. DK's form also fizzling out. You can't expect him to play every single game the way he was playing. He was playing like $1 million, right? You can't expect that from him. But you need the likes of Faf, Kohli, these guys to contribute. Maxwell. You need one of these guys to step up almost every game, and
Yeah.
that's not happening right now, and that's a concern. Virat Kohli half century in the last game, but a slow strike rate.
Slow
Is that
one.
something that he needed though, like just to get runs under his belt?
I think RCB will take one or two losses at the cost of Virat bringing his form back in, because once he gets that back, then he's unstoppable. We've seen that in the past. I think the Faf and the Maxwell is being I think Virat's form is being overshadowed by these two also not performing. Everyone's just been talking about Virat. So I think these two also need to step it up. But I think maybe one or two good things will be the fact that Patidar had a good innings as well. I think he's one of those what's it called, those fairy tale stories with Paridar. He didn't get picked and then he came in as a replacement and brings in, now he's after that innings, I think the next 4 games is definitely guaranteed for him. Next 4 5 games the next guaranteed for him. So just they have these big guys get it together. Maybe Virat does like a 50 of 30 suddenly, and things start to look rosy again, and if Faf chips in, then that's it. That's all they need. But they need these big guns to fire, because Faf, Virat, and if Maxi, if these guys can't, then no one can, pretty much. So that's going to be the main thing. I think everyone else has been doing with RCB. It's always been the big guys performing, then the chip guys who have a chip in not chipping in. This time the guys are chipping in are doing well, and the big guys are struggling. So it's the moment they get it all together, I think this is an unbeatable side.
Unbeatable. That's big words. Abu Bakr's in the house. He's saying, hello, people. Eid Mubarak, man. Eid is very different this year because there's no Salman Khan movie. It's disappointing, but we can still watch old movies and enjoy. Because normally me and Don have Shir Kurma straight after Eid ki namaz, and we go straight to
And
the
go straight to the movies.
we are shameless people. Doing soon, K6 Mara. Where is KS Bharat, who was at RCB last year? Been wondering. He's in Delhi Capitals.
He's in Delhi Capitals, but Delhi's batting is already decently strong. It's hard to find. He's pretty much a punt replacement. If Punt gets injured or something, he's that kind of a replacement for them. So you tend to notice because of the fact that this is a 10-team IPL. You expect a lot of players to perform, but a lot of players that were doing well last season are struggling to find a game this season. For KS Bharat, you saw Chetan Sakaria is now coming back into the Delhi foray, but he was a starter for Rajasthan. Karthik Tyagi, you remember, he was bowling very well. He's not finding a spot in Sunrisers. So some of the other players have stepped up. Some people are struggling. This is kind of the rule of the IPL, which is unfortunate, but that is how it goes sometimes.
For me, it was shocking to see Sangwan.
Pradip Sangwan playing.
He was picked over Virat Kohli in the IPL
2008 Delhi.
auction.
Yeah.
So Delhi had a choice between him and Virat Kohli, and they went with Sangwan. And he actually bowled well in that season. They reached the semi-finals, if I'm not mistaken. After that, we didn't see him. So since then, I think you said this. Since then, Delhi have always bid for the under-19 World
Cup.
Captain.
Yes. They also have Yash Dhul now, so he's
Yash
also.
Dhul, they had Umuk Chand, so they've been always the Prithvi Shaw. So
Yeah.
they've been always backing
Yeah.
the under-19 captain. Your players show
Unfortunately, the most important one they missed out on.
they missed, they missed out, and that they'll be kicking themselves up. Your player to watch out for tomorrow?
Virat Kohli. I mean, we've all been talking about
On
it.
his back.
I have to give him after his 50. I have to give him his name back. I cannot wait. As much as I hate Bangalore, I cannot wait to see him go like in full flow. You know, irrespective if it's at a cost of a win against Chennai, it's just perfect for me because I hate Chennai as well. I mean, it makes that Sunrisers spot in the top four a little questionable, but at this point, I just want Virat Kohli to score a good runs. You know, that's what's important. Ideal result would be Chennai winning tomorrow and then losing a few after that, but because it gives the top four. A little breathing space because any of Bangalore or Punjab starts winning, it gives them a little bit of a worry. So
I don't know if it's me or maybe it's me because I'm like biased at times. But I felt after that Gujarat Sunrisers game, IPL is fizzling out a bit. So they need to get those. I hope to see a very close encounter. I
close
hope to
game.
see a super over maybe. And what better game than this? The South Indian derby. It'll be good to have a close game over there.
We know for a fact a lot of people will be watching, so it'll be a good close game to watch.
And Dhoni versus Faf. Faf has played under Dhoni a long time. Maybe he has some tricks up his sleeve. You don't know. Dhoni as well. He knows how far.
Chennai has beaten Bangalore in the past, right? In their
The
game
first
over
game
there.
they scored in the first match between these two this season.
I think Shivam Dubey went mental in that game.
Mental,
That was a game.
They
Yeah.
scored 200 plus over there. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it
For
up.
Chennai, I think a player to watch out for will be. I think they should start seeing how they can bring. Devon Conway was very very good in the last game. I think finally we've seen the talent that he has, and I think he was able to
In those
complement Rituraj
conditions,
very
in
well.
Indian conditions, good to see him. First time I saw him bat really well in subcontinent conditions. I mean, I saw a couple times in Dubai, but even in Dubai he struggled. But in New Zealand he was outstanding last summer. So it's good to see Devon Conway.
Yeah, and I think if Dwayne Bravo is back, I think that adds a little bit of a variety to that bowling side, and that suddenly becomes a very strong bowling side again.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. Is there any last thoughts you have? Anything you want to discuss? Anything that you want to talk about?
No, I think it's just going to be a good encounter, but I still think that Chennai doesn't have a strong enough side to stake a claim at anything apart from just maybe spoiling one or two parties at this point.
Sounds good, man. Hopefully we get to see a cracker of a game. I will catch you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy the games. Hope to see a cracker, man.
Moving forward, man.
Take care.